Hello, everyone. Today I am looking at Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. This is a really underrated game. This is a really good game. And it's made by Ubisoft, of all people. I just find it to be so strange that of all the games to come across and say, oh yeah, this is one of those classic games you never played. And I see the gameplay, I don't think anything of it. But this is really good. In fact, this game has a certain mechanic that is so much fun and so addicting, and I am shocked it is not in new games, which is the kick. I know it sounds very basic, but again, I guess this was in the early days of ragdolls, and so when you kill an enemy, or even before you kill an enemy, you can kick them and they will stumble and fall and kind of ragdoll before they die. And that's really fun and really interesting because there's a lot of really cool things you can do. In fact, there's this one section of the game where there's a bunch of goblins by these cliffs and these scaffoldings, and what you can do is basically just kick them off one by one while you stay in the corner, and they just all fall to their death, and it is extremely addicting and fun. There's also cool things too where you can kick enemies into spikes, you can kick them into fires. The kick mechanic in this game is so addicting and so much fun, and I'm just, again, shocked it's not used in any other game that I've seen. It's in Dark Souls, but you don't understand. The kick in this game, it is big, it is meaty, and it just absolutely wrecks everyone's stuff. The other thing too is the sword play is pretty good in this game. It's kind of Skyrim-ish, but you basically are able to do finishers on enemies in order to really make sure that they're dead. And so you have different types of swords and stuff. Another aspect of this game is the magic system, so you can cast things like fireballs, ice, stuff like that. The ice one is also really fun. I've seen some really creative uses with ice where enemies will, again, slip and they'll pre-ragdoll before they die, and they'll slip either off the edge or into traps, and just really creative, cool looking things. And again, the movement in this game, the combat, the kick, they feel so meaty. They feel so you feel actually like a power fantasy. You feel really strong when you play this game. I absolutely love it. And of course you have other things like, you can cast night vision so you can see in the darkness and stuff like that. And so the main component of this game is the fact that there's this demon essentially, and there's this professed or prophesized resurrection of this demon. And so you have this cool thing where you can choose between good and evil. And so there's this one chick who's the good side, and then there's this demon chick called Xenia who is the evil side, and she is the succubus. I've seen a lot of games, I've seen a lot of adaptations, but in terms of an actual succubus and what they look and act like, this game does it really well. And of course they do this whole thing where it's you can choose to either side with the devil, but it would probably betray you, side with Xenia and kill her father, the devil, or you can side with essentially the good guy story and side with the girl and do it the normal way. But what I also love about this game is the way it treats your special powers. And so there's a certain point where you get demonic powers, and it's really super cool. So it's in the halfway point of the game, and you're kind of captured and you lose all your equipment, but you have this vision and you have this kind of demon spirit quest, and when you awake, even though you don't have your sword and shield and whatever, you're able to transform into a demon, and you get these red lava claws and this tail, and you can eviscerate and kill the orcs and the guards and stuff, and it feels really cool. I would love for this game to get a remake or a remaster or a sequel, just so people know about it, because I feel like it is an absolute sleeper hit. It is so much fun. If you like Skyrim, you are going to love this game. And even if you don't, this is such a cool game. I absolutely love it. Of course, there are other weapons like daggers, maces, axes, etc. and they each have their own kind of unique thing. And the combat again is very satisfying. And you kind of usually hold the attack button, and that lets you do a kind of finisher on the guy. But yeah, and from there on in, from the midpoint of the game, you can turn into a demon whenever you want, and so that gives you a little power boost. And it's just really, really cool. Again, I love how they do. I mean, I'm always a sucker for games that do like demons and angels and that kind of dichotomy, but the demons and the demonology and the aesthetics in this game are just really, really good. This game kind of feels like a combination of Thief and like Skyrim, I guess, because there's a lot of times you're sneaking around the environment. You can interact with certain windows. There's different ways to sneak inside different areas and things like that. And you're essentially able to, interact with the environment a lot more than I would expect. So like torches, bookcases, traps, and stuff like that. And of course, this whole game starts off with, there's a cult and they're evil and you have to decide what to do about it. Oh yeah, Leanna was her name. But yeah, I don't know, this game just really blew me away. I thought it'd be another generic fantasy RPG that I'm just absolutely sick of playing, but it was actually something nuanced and interesting and really, really cool, and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, I hope Ubisoft maybe makes a sequel to this one day, or like just reuses the mechanics, because again, I really, really enjoyed them, and it was a lot of fun. Anyway, this is absolutely a sleeper hit. People should definitely play it more. There's a certain point where, you start off in the village and you're attacking guards and stuff, but in the midpoint, you kind of go to this island and you end up essentially fighting mostly orcs from that point in and demons by the end of the game. And they have this whole thing where they have this like dragon bone or dragon horn, which will like resummon the devil. And so at the end of the game, you have to choose, what decision you're going to make. And yeah, I don't know. This game is just really well made. It's really cool, and I absolutely adore it. And I hope to see more of it in the future somehow. Anyway, guys, that's all for this game. I will see you all later.